This is scary quick, this thing. Scary quick. Whoa! Welcome back, guys. This is one of my off-road e-bike conversions, but it just didn't have enough power. So this bike started off as a humble 250 watt e-bike. It was sent to me by the company Hovsco. So I fitted a Kirbebike 1500 watt motor and battery kit, and that made a huge difference to the off-road capabilities of this bike. But now there's an even more powerful kit available. The Kirbebike 3000 watt upgrade kit. Now you might have noticed there's no motor wheel here, and that's because you can use the motor wheel from the 1500 watt to 2000 watt kit. It's more than capable of handling the power from this kit. So what you're looking at here is a massive 60 volt 20 amp hour battery. Look at this thing, it's an absolute beast. And you can see here it's got this really cool battery level display. The motor controller is a high power 60 volt 3000 watt controller capable of a massive 50 amps. And it comes with an upgraded coloured display. There's also a harness lead for connecting the original motor to the new controller. The kit also comes complete with a high power 5 amp 70 volt charger. So let's get it installed on this bike. First off, the battery needs to come off. This was actually a pretty DIY job. I just used cable ties to connect to this bike because it didn't really have anywhere to screw the battery to. So with the battery off, the controller is obviously exposed here, so I can disconnect all the wires from the controller. The good thing about this motor is it has this connector on here, so we've got the conversion connector in the kit, which means we just pretty much plug and play. The harness lead is also the same, so the only thing we need to do is just take off the screen and the switchgear. There's not even any need to reroute all the cables or anything like that. Because you can literally just unplug the display and switchgear from this green connector here. So we can take away our old controller, put it over there with the old battery. We can then take our included phase wire harness, and that is basically just going to connect to the 3 phase wires here. Then we take the wire from our motor and we can connect it up to the controller via the phase wire harness. Next, we're going to take the motor hall sensor harness, which is this connector here, and connect it to the mating hall sensor cable on the controller. Not too much to do. We've got our harness lead, which comes from the handlebars of this bike, and that will connect directly to the mating connector on the new controller. Line these 2 connectors up with the arrows as shown here to make sure the connection's correct. The only thing left to connect is the battery connector, but what we're going to do is we're going to wait until we've installed the battery in the frame triangle before we connect that. Meanwhile, what we can do is just basically put this controller, and it just happens to fit perfectly in this frame. So next up, I'm just going to remove the display and put the new display and switchgear on, so that's all ready. This is very easy to do because the brackets are actually completely open, so you don't need to take off all the stuff on the handlebars. So with the display and the switchgear now fixed on, we can get to installing the battery, which is really straightforward. You get a bag of these Velcro straps and they just literally loop through here, and then you can fasten it to the frame. So the Velcro straps didn't actually turn out to be that great, so what I've done here is I've used some very heavy duty cable ties, so this is nice and solid now and it's not going to move. So I'll be talking to the manufacturers and we'll get that changed so something like this is included. Final thing to do is connect up the power. You might get a bit of a spark when you first connect this because it's the capacitors on the controller charging, but we can just tuck that power connector in there so it's out of the elements a little bit. So we can test it's all working, hit the button on the side of the battery. Obviously you want to make sure that we've got charge in the battery, so you might need to charge this battery to start with. Mine's showing 100%. So then we can go up here and we can actually turn on the display and you'll see it's all alive and kicking. And when we push the throttle, the bike is actually working. First time. That is probably the easiest conversion I think I've ever done. Right guys, test ride time then. So I'm out on a private land. Obviously can't ride this bad boy in the on the road. So yeah, I've got my lid on. I could do with my gloves really, but I couldn't find them. I'm just itching to test this out. So first up, we're going to stick it in eco mode and just kind of pull away. Got the throttle over here. I mean, the torque that's got when that pulls away on just 1 is pretty crazy. So let's go up to 2. Wow, yeah, that's going to start to accelerate. Right, so that's touring mode. Let's just skip a couple and just go straight to sport. Right, so full throttle. Oh, the front wheel come up. That is madness. The front wheel actually came up then. Right, okay, I've got to be careful around here because there's a lot of trees that have fallen down and stuff like that. But yeah, right on the power. That is insane. That is so good. Like the front wheel does feel quite light. Obviously this is just a blooming mountain bike, isn't it? So, you know, it's going to be it's going to feel pretty powerful. But I wonder if we can spin up the back wheel. Yeah, that's no problem at all. Oh, this is brilliant. Right, let's just see what happens on let's put it on a higher mode. We've got turbo mode here. Whoa! Yeah, did you see the front wheel come up? That is brilliant. Right, okay, let's try and nip back around here and see how far we have to go. Crazy, that is crazy, guys, crazy. I think I'm gonna have to turn around because I haven't put any trousers on and I don't want to get my legs cut up with all this stuff. Look how light it is as well. It's so funny. That's the thing about these sort of bikes, is because, I mean, this bike was actually a 250 watt bike, so it has actually been designed as an e-bike. You know, so it has got strong torque arms. The frame's a little bit more substantial than you know, like a normal mountain bike. So that's why I wanted to try and, you know, convert it first of all, just to give it just so that it's, you know, something a bit more substantial, because you definitely need something substantial when you run in this amount of power. Jesus, that is quick. The way it gains speed, it's just, it feels like it's like a geared motor or something like that. Wowzers, that is bonkers. This is crazy, honestly. So yeah, again, coming to the point where I don't really want to do that. Right, I'm going to find somewhere else to give this a blast. This is scary quick, this thing. Scary quick. Whoa! If you want a rush, this thing is it. I'll tell you what. So this is a little bit of a gradient here. So I'm just going to roll on. Just absolutely no trouble at all, just climbing. So yeah, it's got plenty of power. Like you just do not need any more power than this at all. Not on a bike as lightweight as this. It feels really, 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 really sprightly. So let's try to test up this bank then. It's a pretty steep old bank. So I've got it in turbo mode. Just going to give it full throttle. Wasn't even standing up. That is so crazy. The smoothness of this controller is really unreal. I mean, you know, just shows you how things have kind of moved on. Really, really smooth control. There's no vibration or noise or anything. It's just absolutely silent. But the way this just pops the front wheel up as soon as you give it full throttle is just absolutely hilarious. It's just got so much torque. So the display's really nice as well. So you can see here, you can see the voltage down the bottom right. You can flick through the different information sort of sections here. It's saying nearly 50 mile an hour max speed. Well, that's probably when I lifted the back wheel off the ground actually, but hey. So we've done, yeah, 7.7 miles. You can see the battery up the top here as well. So this is quite a big battery. 20 amp hours is a pretty decent amount of energy these days. So especially at sort of 70 volts. So the fact that it's not really showing any depletion at all on there is quite good. Not sure why these are sort of going up and down. I think that's probably just the sort of animation type thing. We've still got the cover on the screen as well. So all in all, guys, super impressed. What an absolute beast of a kit. So if you want a way to go really fast with a simple hub motor, this is the kit to get. And of course, it's a really quick upgrade if you've already got this motor, which is the 2000 watt motor. And whilst this motor is warm, we've tested this extensively. It's just such an underrated motor that it can actually handle this sort of power level. So that's it for this one. The links are down below for this kit, and I'll catch you next time.